Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
Welcome back. We got a special guest here. Charlie says hi.
Charlie's gonna be in our video today. Charlie, say hi! Today's video is gonna be all about the things that have gone wrong while living in the camper.
Yeah, we have quite a few of them.
We've been in here for a few months and we have had quite a few things go wrong, so we are going to tell y'all all about them. And if you're planning on moving into a camper or RV anytime soon, maybe these will give you some insight on the not so glamorous parts of living in a camper. So we're going to go through it chronologically and tell y'all all the things that have gone wrong, starting with when we first moved into the camper.
Okay, so our first issue that we came across was we had a leak in the roof.
Yeah, so we weren't even moved in yet. We were actually just finishing up renovating the camper, and we came in one day after a pretty hard rain, and there was a puddle of water on the floor in our kitchen, and we realized that we had a leak in the roof, and Zach and his dad had to patch it up.
Yeah, so we got up on the roof, and we found it, luckily, and patched it up, and we haven't had a problem since. That was our first issue.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but it wasn't too hard of a fix. It actually took us a couple times of repatching it to finally get it right. But we fixed it, and we haven't had any trouble since, so...
No, so all good there.
Yeah, so nothing too bad.
Okay, so our second issue that we ran into is that right when we got into Florida, we were pulling our camper into our spot, or backing it in, and we hit a water outlet and busted the pipe. And... it was kind of an issue.
Yeah, it was actually a huge fiasco. So we had pulled into Florida after over 20-something hours of driving. We were exhausted. It was dark outside. We had a host family letting us live with them, and we were trying to back the camper up into their driveway, and it was just a really tight squeeze, and we're not that experienced with driving the camper around yet because we've only been doing it for a few months. So... after a lot of trial and error, we
hit the water outlet.
Yeah, we hit a water outlet, and
we had to call an emergency plumber to come out and fix it. It was like 11 o'clock at night. So that was fun.
Yeah, it was a little disaster. A couple $100 later, though, we got it fixed, and we were back in progress. Yeah, so after a long night of dealing with busting the water pipes, and we got that fixed, the very next day, we realized that our camper was sitting lopsided in the driveway, and so Zach was like, I want to go get some leveling blocks and then pull the camper forward and put it back so that we could feel level, because I'm not kidding you, when we would sit in our kitchen, we felt like we were like falling over.
It was leaning bad.
Yeah, so Zach got some leveling blocks, and we were like, it's going to be super easy, we just have to pull the camper forward, put the blocks down, back it up. So we went through all of that, but in order to pull it forward, we had to put our slides in. And so this is a slide right here. So we have one in the bedroom, and then we also have one in the living room / kitchen. So we put the slide...
Yeah, so I put both the slides in, and then I needed to come in and get a screwdriver out of the drawer in the kitchen. And I left the drawer open while the slide was still in. And then when I went to pull the slide back out, I didn't realize that I left the drawer open, and it just absolutely crushed the drawer.
We'll insert a picture right here so y'all can see what it looked like. But basically our cabinet kind of just like crumbled a little bit and like broke, and it looked really bad. And it took Zach like 6 hours to fix it.
It was supposed to be though.
This is the result of Zach leaving the drawer out when he tried to put the slide out.
Yep.
5 hours of work later. We're still here.
Yeah, Cameron was... I remember walking out of the camper because she was outside, and I was like, I think I did something really bad. And I told her, and she was like, Zach, you idiot. And she was like, you better fix it.
I'm not going to lie, I was freaking out a little bit, but mainly because the day before we had a big disaster, and then it was like another thing, and we had just moved to Florida, and I was like, I was like, can we not just have things go right for once? But he fixed it, and it looks basically good as new now, so.
Yeah.
So the next thing was actually when we were traveling from Florida back to Texas. We had packed up the camper and we were coming back.
There's a plastic piece of our gutters, because this camper has gutters, and somehow it was I saw it in our rearview mirror that it was flying, and I didn't really know what it was, and cars started honking at us, and so we pulled over on the side of the road, and I figured out what it was. I literally just pulled it off and threw it away. It was a minor thing. It wasn't that, it wouldn't have hurt anybody on the road.
But just another thing to add to our list.
Just stuff falling apart on the camper.
Then the next thing that happened is we were finally back in Texas. We are all settled into my parents' backyard, which is where we're staying currently, and we were going to sleep one night. I think Zach was already asleep, and I usually fall asleep way after him, so I was still like kind of drifting off to sleep, and I heard this super loud noise, like it sounded like a bang, and I was really tired, so I wasn't sure exactly what I heard, but I kind of woke Zach up, and he like remembered hearing it in his sleep, and so we were both kind of freaked out, and Charlie was looking really alert, and so I don't know why, but I was like, was someone trying to get into the camper?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like someone like banged on our camper.
Mm-hmm.
Like
and
with their
so
fist.
we were kind of freaked out. We were like looking out the windows, and then we started to smell this terrible smell, like the worst smell you could possibly imagine. And we were like, what the heck? And so we kind of assumed something was going on with our tanks.
Yeah. Yeah, so I walked outside because I was like, that smells like our black tank. I walked outside, and there it is, just sitting on the ground, like just completely off our camper. And I walk up and I tell Cameron, like, hey, our black tank's on the ground. And the black tank holds our toilet water.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar, the black tank is where all the wastewater goes, so like sewage and stuff.
Yeah. So that was on the ground, and I was freaking out because I didn't know how we were going to fix it.
And it's pretty necessary to living in a camper to have a functioning black tank. So that was a whole nother thing. And for like a week or so, maybe a week, we had to use the bathroom in my parents' house because our bathroom wasn't working properly. But it just took ordering a new part for something, and then his dad helped, and I didn't really have to mess with it, thankfully. Yeah. But they got it fixed, and it was...
Yeah, we had to reattach the black tank to the bottom. And that was,
not
I don't
fun.
Want to go into details, but it was not fun.
We'll just say it was nasty.
It smelled terrible.
Mm-hmm. So.
That is the one issue that you do not want to deal with having a camper. I don't know if anyone else has dealt with that, but it was by far the worst. I would rather have broken the drawer 10 times over than having to deal with that.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Bad.
Stinky. So those are most of like our main things that have gone wrong that have just been like a big pain in the butt. But then another thing that we generally have problems with from time to time is our internet, and that is vital for me because I work from home and I work online, so I need the internet to work properly. So that's something that can get really annoying for me, is our internet goes in and out all the time, but Zach usually can fix it.
Yeah, so if you have a camper, some RV parks, they'll have Wi-Fi for you, but since we have yet to stay at an RV park, my dad works for an internet company, so he kind of has some ins and outs, and we have a radio that shoots to someone else's Wi-Fi so we can get Wi-Fi.
But I mean, overall, I absolutely love living in our camper. I think it's been the coolest experience, and I would recommend it to anyone.
Oh yeah, it's been a blast. Mm-hmm. It is a small space, but with just two of us and our dog, it's been perfect.
Yeah, but I feel like with any home, like whether you're in a camper, an RV, a regular house, whatever kind of home you live in, something's gonna go wrong from time to time. So I think whether we lived in a camper or not, like we'd have to deal with some type of issues. I know, like, speaking for my parents, like they live in a regular house right now, and like just last week this past weekend, their washer flooded, and so it's just, it's always something. So I don't think it's necessarily just like camper living, but it's definitely not the most glamorous lifestyle, although it's very fun.
It is fun, and we love it. We enjoy it. Charlie loves it.
Charlie loves it.
We love it, Charlie.
Alright guys, that's the end of today's video. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you were considering getting an RV or a camper, hopefully we didn't scare you away from it, because it is so much fun, although a little messy at times.
A little bit messy.
If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, drop us a comment, subscribe, and let us know what kind of videos you want to see next. And we will see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye, Charlie.
Tell them bye.
Tell them bye.